engine using iClone. We're going to use a couple of different tools in iClone. We're also going to use a really cool AI tool from Replica Studios, and we'll talk more about that in a bit more detail later on. But before I get started, let's go through all the basic webinar stuff. Again, we are recording this for posterity. We are live broadcasting on YouTube as well. We are taking questions. We're going to have a Q&A session at the very end. Unfortunately, for the Q&A or for the YouTube viewers, we don't take questions from YouTube, so we're only taking questions from Zoom right now. So if you have the Zoom application open, go to the Q&A panel there and put your questions in there. We'll get to your questions at the very end of today's webinar. I'm sure there's going to be a lot. We have a lot of attendees, a lot of interest in this kind of stuff going on. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy it. And as always, we're going to be sending out a survey. So if you have any suggestions for future webinars, future topics, any feedback you want to give us, please fill out that survey and we'll give you a 10% discount for the content store. All right, so you can spend that however you will. Lots of stuff on the content store available. What else am I missing here? QA recording. I think that's about it. Any questions, of course, Q&A, I'll answer those a little bit later on. I won't be using the chat window unless it's to put in a couple of links, which I'm actually going to do right off the bat here. But yeah, so good afternoon, good morning, good evening to people around the world. We just had a brief chat on Zoom here. I know there's people from all over the place tuning in, even from Singapore, where it's 7 o'clock in the morning right now. So thanks for that. I'm not really not really a big morning person, so I might chosen to watch the recording later on. But yeah, we'll send the recording to you guys via email as well if you want to review. So if it gets too fast for you, of course, we're going to send out the recording via email for you as well. Okay, so yeah, good stuff. Let's go ahead and get started. A few new things to talk about. This is the first time we've ever done a webinar regarding Metahuman. We did Replica Studios a little bit briefly in a couple webinars ago last month. So I'm just going to basically introduce you to the live link, iClone live link here. This page, I'm going to put it in the chat window. Unfortunately, it seems like this morning our video hosting service decided to go down, so we don't have a video playing in the background. But I'm going to put this in the chat window for you guys. To all webinar or all panelists and attendees. Okay, so this is a website or a page you would really want to check out. This is dealing with all the Metahuman stuff. I know Metahumans made a big wave, big splash in the recent months here. Very realistic looking characters for use in Unreal. And thankfully we are along for the ride. We're basically working with that pipeline and getting things as smooth as possible, which you'll see a little bit later on. So you can browse this page on your own time. It starts off with a few, tips about the iClone motion tools here. And then we get down to like body motion control. And of course, I'm not going to be going through the entire blueprint setup in this webinar. So if you want to like sit around and watch blueprints being made in Unreal Engine, we're not going to have it in this webinar. You can also take a look at these videos here, excuse me. They'll be talking about producing the webinar or producing the blueprints that you can use to have your character animate the face and body, your Metahuman character in Unreal using the Unreal Live Link. Okay, and if you aren't Indie Studio, it's applied to be an Indie Studio to show some really good work that you've done in the past. You can get Unreal Live Link for iClone free of charge as well. So just go ahead and apply for that. And yeah, just check out this page on your own time. I'll close it down for now. Hopefully the videos will be back up soon. And this is the web page we have for Replica Studios here as well. So Replica Studios is a little studio. They've actually created a plugin for iClone, which is fantastic, which allows you to basically import AI voices onto your characters. Perfect for stuff like background characters or NPCs in your game and stuff like that. You're going to want to take a look at this Replica Studios plugin. Comes with a bunch of like half an hour of free audio basically that you can use up, and as well if you purchase iClone as well, or even if you're already an iClone user, or if you purchase it, you can also sign up for 4 hours of free audio from Replica Studios. So that's a huge thing. Can basically fill your ticket for an entire indie production and stuff like that. So yeah, check out the Replica Studios page, which I put in the, well, I didn't put it yet, did I? We're going to put this in the chat window right now. And hopefully you'll browse this. Someone says, yeah, so we're, someone mentioned in the chat window, I'm not going to be answering questions from the chat window, by the way, in the future, but I just saw this. Nick says that we're going to be using lip sync and ARKit facial mocap tips and techniques. We are going to be using ARKit facial mocap tips and techniques. You might be thinking about a different webinar, but we are going to be using those anyways, but we're going to be expanding on that. So Frank also mentions the 4 hours of free audio from Replica Studios. You just have to sign into your Reallusion account and apply for that from the website there. Okay, so you can go down Replica Studios and then what they do. I know they're not going to put voice actors out of work. I have a bunch of really good friends who are voice actors, but these are definitely useful tools to use in a lot of productions. I mean, for background characters, and it's getting fantastic these days. Yeah, and it might expire in the near future. I'm not sure how long this offer is going for, so just be aware of that. Just take a sip of my tea there. All right, so that's the website I put for Replica Studios, and again, feel free to browse that on your own time. I encourage you to do that. And here's the Replica Studios main page, which I'll also put in the chat window here as we move along. This is, something to check out. And what you can do is you can actually download the Replica Studios desktop application, which I highly encourage you to do. And we'll show a little bit about that later on. And we're going to be using that later on as well. So all this stuff you can browse on your own time. I don't want to get into too much detail on it since we have a lot of other stuff to cover. We're going to cover stuff from Unreal as well. But yeah, highly encourage you to download this application. And we do have the plugin as well for iClone. So good stuff. All right, we'll close all this down. I am using Microsoft Edge. I've made the transfer over to Microsoft Edge, which I heard is a pretty good browser these days. Anyways, that's apropos of nothing. Let's go ahead and get started with our live demo here then. So the way we're going to start off is we're going to start off with Replica Studios. So I've downloaded the app, obviously. And when you download the app, it looks like this. You have a dashboard and there's plugins for Unity and Unreal, which you can find videos of those on YouTube. There's also the sandbox here. And the sandbox allows you to basically type your own dialogue. You can select a voice. I'm going to select a voice here. There's a whole bunch of voices here. I'm going to be using a couple that I found quite funny. I found this Hammond character. I can't really see the thumbnail very well, but he looks like some kind of old-timey detective. And the way he talks, if you play back, you can hear the way he talks.
It was simple, given that I had access to the facility after hours to set my trap. I rigged the equipment to start recording as Marino opened the door to his suite. We've had eyes on you for weeks, Fat Tony.
Okay, so he's like some kind of like old-timey gangster or something like that. I thought he was kind of funny. So I'm going to use his voice a little bit later on in the demo. And then we're also going to be using this character, Freya, who's kind of like a RPG type female hero.
The Black Soul Stone contains thousands of demonic souls. It's evil. Whatever you do, don't touch it. How charming. Tell me, Darian.
Okay, so there's a lot of some pretty creepy demonic soul stuff there, whatever. And you can click on the profile. It shows a thumbnail of the character, and there's different profiles that the character can use as well. So it's really cool. She can have a serious voice. If I play back here,
the Black Soul Stone contains thousands of demonic souls.
Okay, obviously demonic souls is a serious topic, so you want to have serious things. So, and then there's a lighthearted thing here.
How charming. Tell me, Darian. Why does your breath smell so bad? Have you been rinsing your mouth with ogre piss again? How charming.
It's a little bit crazy there. Anyways, so there's lighthearted, there's hatred, there's different profiles that you can use, and they're all quite different. Some characters, some voice actors have more than others. If we go down to where's Hammond again here, you can view his profile again. So he has like an internal, so yeah, he's like an old-timey detective, he has that internal monologue where he's like, it was a dark, stormy night in my office or whatever, he has that internal monologue.
It was simple, given that I had access to the facility after hours.
Okay, so you hit the point, and then there's the fear and the angry one as well, which I won't bother playing. I mean, you can experiment with this on your own time. It's a lot of fun. I really love this Replica Studios plugin. I encourage you to use it in your projects. But yeah, let's get started as well. I want to talk about, I guess I should load up Edge here again, because we're going to talk about Metahuman. So I need to load up my Metahuman account here in the background. And maybe we can go back to Replica Studios for a sec. Now, I'll show you the brief dialogue that we have going on here. So these are the 3 lines, and they start from the bottom. So I just kind of figured, like, thought up some stupid lines for these characters to say to each other. So we have Freya saying this. So the other day, this is my custom dialogue here.
So the other day, my mother gave me some big news. I'm actually an intelligent 3D model they adopted.
Okay, I don't know why this just came up to my mind, but
Well, you certainly don't look like a 3D model. You look real. What if I'm a 3D model too? Oh, pickles.
so that's Hammond using the fear profile there, which I think is pretty funny. And here's what she says in response.
Oh, I wouldn't worry too much. I'm sure no one would make a 3D model as ugly as you.
Okay, so she's just kind of dissing him there. It's a lighthearted insult. So you can see Freya lighthearted there as my Metahuman loads up in the background here. All her dialogue there is lighthearted. And okay, so we'll go to Metahuman. If you're not familiar with Metahuman, it's from Unreal. They're basically like, pretty realistic looking characters, very impressive shading on these characters. There's, it just launched a couple months ago, so there's some restrictions to it, but a lot of really cool stuff can come out of here. And if you want to go, you have to have like an Unreal account, obviously, and you go to metahuman.unrealengine.com and you just load up your characters. So the characters we're going to be using in this webinar today are Harold, which you can see here has a pretty cool, funky looking afro. If I can load him up here, there you go. It bounces all over the place. I love this. So if we select Harold, we can, of course, edit him, edit selected on the bottom here. So it's all browser based, by the way, Metahuman. So you can have to have a browser, and you can preview your Metahuman here. Should be previewing automatically. Okay. So here's him. This is the guy I made. I kind of based him off of one of my favorite authors, Malcolm Gladwell, just to start off. And then I kind of went a little bit wild with freckles and gave him a little stash and everything like that. So, it doesn't take too long to create a character like this in Metahuman. Very intuitive interface here. You can adjust things like the face. You can blend. Again, you can watch Metahuman tutorials online. I won't get into too much detail on this since we're going to focus on the iClone animation type. But I do want to focus on the body types here. So there's a few different body types that Metahuman allows you to have. These are just template presets. They're short and average and tall. And each type has a number of different on the bottom, you can see there's very thin characters. In the middle, there's quite fat characters. And on the top, they're like, average looking, average weight characters. And then you have the option of short, average, and tall there. And then for the body, there's quite a small selection of clothing for now, but you can just put some clothing on these characters and get a cool looking dude like this. And I base his clothing off of that movie, Her. What's his name? Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, I like his style in that movie. Anyways, you can work with whatever you want, and you can throw stuff on there at your leisure. Okay. So once you have your Metahumans prepared, you can go back to your main Metahuman page, and you're ready to export them. Sip my tea there, and then we have this cool little application here, which I'm going to load up, called Quixel Bridge. This allows you to basically easily import any Unreal assets into your project. Okay, and you can see here, if I go to Metahumans, there's a whole Metahuman section. And I can find my Metahumans. That's the ones that I've created. And we have Glenda here and Harold and Pia. I guess I changed Harold's name, but Pia I left fairly similar. The conversation is going to be between Harold and Pia in this webinar here. Let's get started. So if you want to, the process basically to bring your characters in from Quixel Bridge to Unreal Engine, just click on your character, and you're going to have an option here to download the character, which I've already done. You can see it says downloaded here. And the downloading just basically takes about a few minutes to generate the character. It basically just creates the character from the the specifications on the website, and you can go ahead and export the character into your project. So if I have Unreal loaded up right here, which I do, thankfully, and we have Harold just sitting there waiting for some action, you can go over to your content folder here, and under Metahumans, you'll see I have a number of different characters that I've already imported in, and we're going to be using Harold and Pia, like I mentioned. If you wanted to bring, what's her name, Glenda? Yeah, Glenda in, for example. I just basically took the template and swapped the hair to make Glenda. We can just go ahead and export her. And when we click export, it'll say exported successfully, blah, 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 blah. And then you can see Unreal working in the background. We'll move this a little bit here. You can see it's importing Glenda. And this just takes a minute or so. And then Glenda's folder will appear here in the Metahumans folder. Okay, so that's really the process to, just getting your Metahumans character into Unreal. I know it's an important step, obviously, but very simple as well. Okay, so we talked about Replica. We've talked about exporting your Metahuman characters from Quixel into your Unreal project. The next step is we're going to take a look at setting up an iClone. Okay, so we've got Unreal stuff already taken care of here. I'm going to go back to my iClone project here, which is on this side of the screen here. And I have a couple things set up. I forgot to mention on the Metahuman page that there is a Metahuman basically setup file that you're going to download. It's a zip file, and it's going to contain a bunch of stuff in that zip file. You can see here it's called the Metahuman kit. If I go into that folder here, it'll have a Metahuman profile for Unreal Engine 3D Exchange. So you can bring in your Metahuman character into 3D Exchange. And there's a content folder which contains a couple of folders that you're going to import into your project folder from Unreal. Again, this stuff is all covered in those tutorials I showed you earlier. I'm not going to go into too much detail on that because I want to focus on other things. But yeah, you just copy those folders to your project folder, and there's a few things in there like blueprints that make things easier for us all in our lives. Okay, and then there's a Metahuman Dummies folder here. Now this contains a bunch of iAvatar files, and these iAvatar files is very important you recognize which body type your Metahuman character has, because you're going to have to use the corresponding body type iAvatar in iClone in order to make LiveLink work, in order to animate it directly into Unreal Engine. And we'll show that a little bit later on as Glenda hopefully hurries her butt up here and imports in. But yeah, so these are the Metahuman dummy characters, and what I suggest doing is just importing, copying this folder to your custom folder, which I've done under the my actor tab here, under actor, under custom. You can see here, or maybe I did it in the template folder. Yeah, okay, so here it is, Metahuman Dummies. I just basically copied that folder to this folder in the iClone program. And if you right click it, you can select Find File and open the folder here, and the same files are all right here. Okay, so we'll close that down for now. And you can see that Glenda has now been imported in. If we click on her, there she is. It's probably going to compile the shaders a little bit here, so I'll bring her in a little bit later on. We're not going to use her. I just want to show how the process goes. But yeah, okay, so we've done that. We've done the Metahuman. We set up the Unreal project. And you can see here, or sorry, the iClone project. You can see here that I have a couple of few characters on my screen. I'm just going to maximize iClone for now, actually, so we can see it a bit better. Why is it jumping over there? There we go. Okay, and you might think the characters look a little bit weird. That's because their shading is set to minimal. And the reason I've done that is to save resources. You can set it to high if you want. I'm not going to do that right now, just because we don't need the detail in iClone. We only need iClone as the animation engine to basically animate our Metahuman characters. Okay, so I recommend setting the detail to minimal or quick mode. Either one works fine, just to save resources on your characters. Okay, and then we have these are the characters here, and both of them have the thin body type, okay, the very skinny body type, and the average body type. So I've just imported in the skinny, where is it here? If you can look over, you can mouse over it, you can see that there's FSRT, so female, short, underweight. I think UNW stands for underweight body. So this is not the one. This is almost the one, but the one that we want is female, short, I think is regular weight. So female, let's see here, medium underweight. Yeah, so this is the one right here that we've imported in. You can see this character over here. So these are the dummies that are going to be used for the body animation. And then we have these two characters here. And these are just your general avatar characters. This is Caleb, or sorry, no, it's Kevin and Jody, sorry. These ones that are included with iClone. And we've imported them in because the Metahuman Dummies don't have facial animation, okay? They're only used for the body animation. And you need, for facial animation, you need a CC3 base plus character, which I've just used the template or the default characters, Kevin and Jody here. Okay, so we're all set up. Doesn't really matter where they're positioned on your screen in iClone. If you want, you can put them opposite each other. It doesn't really matter. Like I could press the W hotkey and I can move this dummy over here, E hotkey and turn him this way, just to make things a little bit more realistic. And she's looking at him. It's like Adam and Eve, except they're all gray. Okay, and then they're talking to each other. And you can also do the same thing with these ones, these characters as well. Okay, and minimal shading. Obviously, they're going to look a little bit weird, but you can actually see through Kevin's back. Holy smokes. Okay, anyway, so let's go ahead and work with this. And what we want to do is now we want to connect everything using the Unreal Live Link plugin. Okay, let me just go ahead and scroll down here. Okay, yeah, so in Unreal, I think Glenda, I'm not sure if she's probably loaded up by now. You can see as well, if I zoom out on Harold, he just loses his hair. And this is because of level of detail that we've, with this particular hair set in Metahuman, it only has a 0 and 1 level of detail for the hair. So if you zoom out, the hair will just kind of disappear. All right, let's bring Glenda's blueprint in here just to see what she looks like. No, she's way over there. Why are you over there, Glenda? All right. You can see she also has no hair. She's going to take the spotlight away from Harold here. But you can see here, Glenda looking quite nice. Looks like my high school science teacher. All right. And so that's basically how you import the character in. That's really all I want to show. And we're going to delete Glenda because we have another character that has all of the blueprint stuff taken care of already. So the next thing I'm going to show you, and again, I'm just going to show you this. I'm not going to recreate the blueprint for the character. I'm going to show you, there's a little bit of blueprint modification that you have to make on your characters to allow the live link to transfer directly to the Metahuman characters without needing to press play or without needing to do anything else. So I'm just going to move Harold over here a little bit, 90 degrees, whatever. Okay, let's move him over here. And then we're going to bring in, what's her name again? Pia. All right, so Pia is the character that I've already loaded up that already basically has the, oops, try to bring her in. Okay, there she is. Let's just bring her over here. Again, do the same thing with Glenda. I could just, go over here and set the position, I guess, but I like doing things the hard way, I guess. I don't know. Let's just bring her so she's facing Harold. So right now they're like, who can do the best A pose? Whoops. Oh, there we go. It's kind of a little bit troublesome sometimes to skip from one program to another when you see the, okay, I think they're relatively face to face. Holy smokes. Okay, intimidating. Hopefully Harold's not too intimidated by, oh gosh, I'm so terrible at maneuvering in Unreal. Sorry, guys. Okay, we'll just work with this. So they're face to face. They're going to have a conversation. Okay, there's Pia. Now, what we need to do is, like I mentioned before, activate Live Link. We're getting a little bit forward on time here. So I'm going to go over to Unreal Live Link, the tab here again. And again, I won't explain too much about this. If you have any questions about it, how to set it up and everything, you can ask that in the Q&A session and I'll answer those. There's also a lot of tutorials online for it as well. I'm just going to go ahead and link to the link section. We don't need to transfer anything in. We're just going to be linking stuff, which is the beauty of the Metahuman animation process. Let's go ahead and select activate link. Link activated, green. Okay, that's a good sign. Okay, now let's go ahead and let's press Control or the Windows key, and let's bring our icon to the left there. Okay, so now we need to basically set everything up in Unreal. Before I activate the live link in Unreal, I wanted to go briefly into the blueprint. You can either go into the blueprint of, in this case, Harold or Pia or whatever. I'm just going to show you Harold's blueprint really quick. And in the event graph, we've added a few things. And this basically just allows you to see the live animation without needing to press the play button. Okay. And it allows you to basically stream the live link data. This ARKit setup is for the face. This stuff over here is for the body. Again, I'm not too good with blueprints, which is why I'm just going to kind of skip through this. I won't be able to answer too many questions about it, but I do know the basics here. I'm not a programmer or a blueprinter or whatever you want to call it too much, but I do understand the process here. You're just basically streaming the data from live link to the characters. And there's the tutorials go into a lot more detail on that, obviously. So, and of course, you have to have these live link sub utilities set up here, the variables. And for the body, you also have to make sure that you're using the animation blueprint, and you're using the blueprint specifically for your character's body. So again, I mentioned before, this is Harold. So it's male, M, and medium height, and NRW, underweight. And this is his specific animation blueprint. Okay, and this is all included with the Metahuman kit that's comes with the that I showed you before. Okay, so we can go ahead and live link everything together now. So we go ahead and let to live link, and of course you need to go up to, let me move the zoom thing over here. Where are you going? Oh, what the heck? Okay, something. So plugins, edit plugins, and you need to make sure you have live link. So iClone live link enabled. All right, so enabled right there. All right, make sure you have that enabled. As well, you need to make sure you have rig logic plugin enabled. Okay, so those are the two plugins you need to have enabled. And again, this is shown on the videos. But let's go ahead and choose a source. Source, iClone live link, port 54321. Sounds good to me. All right, so now, so Pia has gone into a weird position there. Not sure why that is, but she's moved over here. Maybe I need to make sure that her blueprint is her body subject is, so her body is selected as Jody. We need to change the body type here to female, medium, underweight body. I think this should probably fix that issue. Compile and save. I hope it fixes the issue anyways. There you go. Okay, good. So I was going to get to that a little bit later on, but kind of popped up there. And we're going to move her around. So she's imported in a little bit differently, since her character over here is a little bit off center in the origin. But we'll just move her over. I'll talk about that later if we need to. So we moved her to a good position. Okay, so now we have an intimate conversation between these two characters. I'll try to make it an intimate conversation. There we go. Okay, and you can set camera angles much better than me probably later on. Okay, so we have that, and the very important thing to note is that if you go to details here for each character's blueprint, like Harold's blueprint, his face is going to be driven by Outfits Kevin, which is this character here. Okay, that's CC3 base plus character. The body is going to be driven by the medium UNW body, okay, underweight body. So that's this character right here. If I go to the content manager, the C manager, you can see right here. That's the name of the character, or the dummy, I guess. Okay, and the same thing with Pia. So if we select Pia, face is driven by Outfits Jody, and the body is driven by the female medium underweight, this one. Okay, so pretty simple. Everything's linked up and they're all in A poses. Their faces are all normal. Okay, so we're going to spend the next half an hour here doing animation stuff. Now that we have everything set up, let's talk about the fun animation stuff. So we have, let's see, we're going to go ahead and start off with Freya or Pia, basically insulting or talking to Harold about something that happened to her in the day. Okay, so we're going to do basically all the animation in iClone right now. I'll start off by showing you like half screen, and we might just move to full screen iClone a little bit later on, just to kind of save some resources. My Zoom panel's not moving. Okay, there we go. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is go over to our Smart Gallery. And in this, if you're not familiar with the Smart Gallery, tons of animations here. You can purchase packs, content packs, individual motions from our Actor Core library, etc. If you don't know what Actor Core is, I can show you later as well. Let's go ahead and search for City animation pack that I've downloaded. This is called City Life. Pretty important pack, I think, for just excuse me, your basic animations of your character. And you can see here it includes a whole bunch of animations. We're going to be using basically a talk animation for her body. Okay, so we have her character's body selected, and the face is going to be driven by Jody over there, of course. So let's see, we do have one called, what is it, Talk Chat, I think. Let's go into select chat. Let's type in search for chat. I'm searching in this window here, by the way. I'm just typing in chat. There's one that I want to use. Female chat, standing female chat. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we're just going to apply an animation to her. Boom. Okay, and you can see in Unreal it snaps. The character will snap to position. And if we play back in iClone, it's just basically an idle animation where she's kind of chatting, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. All right, there you can see it. That's live link at work there. And if we press F3 and go into the timeline in iClone here, it'll expand our window there. And you can see the motion clip that we applied right here. Okay, it's called chat, stand, yada, yada. Okay, this is the clip right here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and apply, I'm going to go back to frame 1, and I'm going to apply, I'm going to use the Replica Studios plugin here for iClone. Okay, now you can easily save out these clips that you've made from Replica Studio from the application here. So if I want, I can go to download and I can select download MP3, and that'll work fine. WAV or OGG as well. But I'm going to go ahead and do something else. We're going to go to plugins here in iClone, and Replica Studios has generously created their own plugin called Replica Link here for iClone. And you can see we need to select our avatar. So we're going to select Jody. She has the first line, and then select avatar. Boom, outfits Jody is ready to receive voice from the Replica plugin here. Okay, so what we're going to do is now we have this option here to export to iClone. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and select export to iClone. And we have an option here for style. So we can actually choose the style that we want to export to the character. Don't worry that the other character is selected. It's going to export to Jody. So if we want, we can actually choose a template here. So if she's happy or if she's sad, it's going to apply that emotion to her face. I'm going to choose auto for now, since we're going to use facial motion capture with the iPhone to actually layer on the expression of that clip there. Okay, so let's go ahead and click apply. And what that's going to do, boom, it's going to align visemes. It's going to do a bunch of processing funky stuff, and it's going to allow us to apply that facial animation to our Jody character, which of course will transfer to our character in Unreal Engine, Pia. Right? Sorry if these names are getting all confusing, but I probably should have named them all the same. Okay, anyways, so we have that. So now if we can actually move the Replica Link plugin over here, okay? And if we play back now.
So the other day, my mother gave me some big news.
You can see that Jody's face is actually moving. If we press the J hotkey, we can zoom in on her face. You can see she looks like a freak right now because we have minimal shading. If we play back.
So the other day, my mother gave me some big news. I'm actually an intelligent 3D model they adopted.
Okay, so I mean the animation looks quite nice. The lip sync is like super accurate. We can actually just switch over to high detailed shading mode briefly here, just to see what it looks like for the character. Because when we're animating her facial animation, we don't really need to go into Unreal yet. I'll show you once the facial animation is complete. All right, and then we'll show the live link in process. All right, so let me just whip up my iPhone here, get it all set up. And we should be switching over to high shade modes pretty soon. Live face right here. All right, so okay, there we go. So unfortunately, you won't be able to see my face. I don't have a webcam set up for this computer yet, but you'll have to trust me. It's my face driving this character. All right, so you play back.
So the other day, my mother gave me some big news. I'm actually an intelligent 3D model they adopted.
Okay, so she's doing the body talking and she's doing the facial talking. Pretty cool. It's just two characters driving one character on Unreal Engine. I'll show you in just a moment, but let's go ahead and press F3 and go into our timeline and take a look at our characters' tracks here. If we open up the Viseme track and expression track, the Viseme track is where the audio has been imported. And you can see here, it's used AccuLips to basically create. So the other day, it basically generated the script automatically. Give me some big news. I'm actually an intelligent 3D model they adopted. All right, so it looks perfect. Of course, if you want to modify that, you can right click on it and you can go to AccuLips and you can adjust the timing. You can adjust the words and everything here. Again, I won't go into too much detail about AccuLips, but it's a super powerful tool for iClone that creates some really, really exceptional lip sync. And you can modify all kinds of stuff in here if you need to, but we'll go ahead and cancel it for now. If you want to, you can actually change the type of talking as well. So I can right click and I can select talking style editor. So right now it's preset to normal. If I go to like type whispering, for example, you'll notice that all the Viseme shapes here then, or Surfonum shapes go smaller, or the values go weaker. And if we play back.
My mother gave me some big news. I'm actually an intelligent 3D model
You'll see it almost looks like she's mumbling. And that's because these shapes, the strength is so low that we have this whispering type. It's gonna look like that. We can change this to bellowing, for example, and they're all gonna be quite high. Some of them are 150. And then if we play back.
So the other day, my mother gave me some big news. I'm actually an intelligent 3D model they adopted.
You'll notice there's a lot more mouth movement. Okay, so that's a really cool little feature with AccuLips that allows you just to really quickly and easily adjust the amount of strength that you have on particular vocal clips, I guess. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and choose the normal one since she's basically talking at normal volume. Okay, and then if we want, we can layer on top some facial motion capture onto that. So let's go to our plugins here. Let's go to not the curve editor, Motion Live plugin, and we need to make sure we have the IP address all set up. I am doing this wirelessly right now. Generally, you should probably try and do it with the Ethernet connection. Okay, I'm just going to whip it out wirelessly here, though. We need to get our, 168.1.76. Okay, and then you can go ahead and connect it to your iPhone. Boom. All right. So we're connected, and we're going to use Jody's face for animation. Let's close down our timeline. We don't need this open right now. And let's go ahead and select Jody. We're going to choose live face for Jody. Sorry if I'm whipping through this again, but there's lots of tutorials that go into add more detail on it. Well, set zero pose. It's just a neutral pose for your face. Okay, and then preview.
So the other day, my mother gave me some big news.
Okay, let's go to a frame where she's not talking. So we can just preview this. Okay, that's me. That's my face. Look at those eyebrows. Okay, enough of me doing whatever. So what I can do here is for auto blink, I'm just going to set auto blink to none because when you're doing facial motion capture, generally you're going to be blinking and you don't need extra blinks going in there. We're not going to worry about all this other stuff. We followed it up. We kind of cover this in other tutorials. Let's just go ahead and we can record. Now, if I want, I can go ahead and select the mode. I can select blend in the mode, and that's going to blend into the existing animation. I'm also going to deselect my chin and my mouth here. We're only going to be kind of moving the eyes, okay, in the masking panel here. All right, so if I press record, let's just try and create, I don't know what I'm going to do, maybe raise my eyebrows a little bit, tilt my head. Okay, let's go ahead and press record. Oh, of course, we need to go back to the frame where she's going to be talking here. Okay, let's go ahead and do that.
So the other day, my mother gave me some big news. I'm actually an intelligent 3D model they adopted.
Okay, so I may have exaggerated a little bit, but you can see here that there's my animation.
So the other day, my mother gave me some big news. I'm actually an intelligent 3D model they adopted.
Okay, cool. So that's me. That's basically just me controlling the nose and the eyebrows and layering that on top of the animation in iClone here. We'll go ahead and close this down. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show the result now in Unreal. Okay, let's minimize. Okay, so you can see she's all set up. And if we go to, let's take a look at her face in Unreal here. Zoop. Okay, should have adjusted that to camera focal length. Okay, here we go. Let's play back.
So the other day, my mother gave me some big news. I'm actually an intelligent 3D model they adopted.
Okay, pretty cool. We may want her to be looking at the dude actually. So let's go ahead and with our other character selected, since this is look at is going to be on focus on the body, I believe look at works for the Unreal Live link. Let's go ahead and select our character there, and let's select look at, pick target. Let's pick at this dude in front of her. Okay, so you can see her head will snap. Okay, to look at the dude in front of her, and this is where having the characters aligned in iClone can actually be helpful as well. So now she's actually looks like she's talking to him. Okay. So then if we play back, we can even maybe just we'll make it look like she's actually talking to us. Let me get my camera angle here. Okay, here we go.
So the other day, my mother gave me some big news. I'm actually an intelligent 3D model they adopted.
Okay, so that works fine for me. All right, let's change this shading in iClone back to, whoops, doodle. Back to quick mode. Okay, like I mentioned, we don't really need that to work, the shading to be too fancy in iClone. And then once we have that taken care of, let's take a look at our animation there in iClone. So if I press F3, go into my timeline with the body. Okay, I'm going to play back really quick.
Actually an intelligent 3D model they adopted.
Okay, so it'll be adopted. And then maybe she puts her arms down like this. Now what I can do here, I can right click and I can break this clip. Okay, since I don't want this other nonsense on the end here, since she's finished talking. And generally when you finish talking, you stop gesturing. Okay, so we'll go ahead and stop that. Now what I can do is I can actually add, like I like to add some just general idle animation onto our character. We can do that using the body puppet tool. Let's see how much time we have. Okay, we've got some time. So we have the motion puppet tool here. If we select that, it's basically like your general loopable motions here. We can have a sexy idle. If I press preview, let's take a closer look at the character. Wow, look at that sexy pose. Okay, anyways, yeah, we can do that, or we can, go ahead. Oh, I shouldn't have gone back to that frame. Oh, well. We have this natural one right here. Okay, this is like a natural
So the
pose.
other day, my mother gave me some big news.
Okay, but we obviously don't want to go over that. So let's go to this frame here where she stops. Now, if I go to the whole body view here and I press preview, notice her feet will kind of snap. I mean, it doesn't look that bad, to be honest. But if we didn't want the lower body to change position, let's try the sexy one, for example, here. Okay, so you can see her feet just kind of snap into different positions there. By preview. If I didn't want that to happen, I can actually mask out the lower body of my character and have the upper body still moving. So I'm going to mask out the hips and the legs there. Okay, so then she'll still have that upper body idle, but her feet will remain in the position of the last clip there. Okay, let's do that one for the natural female. And of course, you can see here, you can adjust the speed, exaggeration, if you want more exaggerated idle, for example. Looks ridiculous. Or like a very subtle idle, you can just do this, okay? Maybe like a 75 or something. Okay, so from here, while he's talking, we'll just go ahead and press record. We'll record her. Did we mask out? No, we didn't mask out the feet there. Let's make sure we have those masked out and record. Okay, well, her arms are kind of going through her body. Don't worry about that. No, I'm not gonna use that. That looks stupid. let's try a different one. Let's try like the hands on the hips. And let's just use exaggeration at 100 there. Okay, there you go. Okay, and her hands are going into her hips as well, but of course we can adjust that later on. But at least she doesn't look stationary, right? So now we have that clip, and from here to here, she's gonna put her hands on her hips, okay? And we can, of course, move these clips together, and we can increase the transition area to make the transition look more natural, like this. So she's like this, and then she goes to her hips. And as she goes to her hips, if we want, I'll show you another motion tool called the motion key editor, edit motion layer tool rather. We can take her hands, and we're going to just move those into a position that looks not weird like this. Let's take the left or right hand here. I don't want to spend too much time on this part, but if you come across a situation like this, where it's in the wrong spot, then at the first frame of your clip, you can just adjust the position here. We can rotate it, press the E hotkey, rotate your hands. There you go. That looks a bit better. Maybe move it a bit further back. Okay, take a little bit of time just adjusting the position of the hand. All right, I'm going to work with that. All right, so there's her hands on her hips. Okay, so now she's going to move from here. Just put her hands directly on her hips. So from her animation, there you go. Looks fine and dandy to me. Okay, there's other stuff you could do to adjust it, but I'm just gonna work with that for now. Okay, so just using those two quick tools to create a nice idle and a nice transition. And let's go ahead and put the second guy's animation in then. So we have.
So the other day.
And of course, while she's talking, maybe he should be doing something as well instead of just sitting there. So let's give him like just a regular idle animation as well. I'm gonna use the same motion puppet. This time we're gonna use male. Natural here, and we'll just turn the exaggeration down a bit and let's record just a couple seconds.
So the other day, my mother gave me some big news. I'm actually an intelligent 3D model they adopted.
Okay, and then he's going to respond. We also want to have him look at the female character because he looks like he's looking around, not interested in what she's saying at all. So let's have him also look at her. So pick target, look at her head there. And of course, you can adjust to the eye or the head, however much weight you want on the look at. Okay,
so the other day, my mother gave me some big.
Okay, so let's go into Unreal now and take a look. Let's close down the timeline. Shoot. And take a look at what the interaction looks like at this point. Oops. Okay, so he's really interested in what she's saying now. Look at him. He's totally invested. Okay, so now we have this. We play back.
So the other day, my mother gave me some big news. I'm actually an intelligent 3D model they adopted.
Okay, so maybe he's looking around a bit too, or he's moving around a bit too much. Of course, you can calm that with the exaggeration. But let's put his stuff in here now. Let's go ahead and select this dude. I thought we were in the minimal shading mode here. Quick mode. Oh, okay. Well, minimal maybe. There we go. Sorry, I'm just doing that to save resources here. And right after that, we'll get his animation in there. And then she has her kind of zingy comeback. And then I think we're good to go. For him, we're going to use some different facial motion tools. We're going to use the facial puppet tool, which I love to use because I'm a super lazy animator. All right, there he looks like a mannequin now. That's the word I was looking for. Okay, so we have a mannequin dude right here. And what's he going to say? He has his, let's bring our Replica plugin again here. Well, you certainly don't look like a 3D model. You look real. Okay, I love this style. Okay, so let's have him talk and you'll see him. Let's do the plugin again. Studios, yada, yada. Oh, it's running right. We have it over here. Okay, let's select a different character now. Outfits Kevin. Select avatar. Now Outfits Kevin is ready to receive audio. Okay, and let's send this Hammond one over to him. Okay, so we'll export to iClone, Outfits Kevin. And here the style we can choose. Let's choose the fear one. Okay, so this is automatically going to add expression to his face. Let's go ahead and add fear here. We can change the strength to like maybe high. Let's see how it works out and apply it. Okay, so this will load onto Kevin here. Again, using AccuLips to automatically load onto the character's face. And then we'll see it on Harold in Unreal in just a moment here. I really probably should have consolidated the names of these characters. It's like Kevin, Harold, who? Too many characters. But yeah, you'll see. I'll show you right away when how the fear looks on Harold's face. Okay, so let me just play this back.
Well, you certainly don't look like a 3D model. You look real. What if I'm a 3D model too? Oh.
Okay, anyways, let's go back to when he first starts talking and let's see Harold's face. Again, windows to the right here. And let's take a look at poor little Harold's. Whoa, where'd I go there? All right, so now, whoa, Harold, what a big nose you have. Okay. All right, probably use a bit more light on his face, but we'll work with what we have here. Okay, so now if we play back with Harold.
Well, you certainly don't look like a 3D model. You look real. What if I'm a 3D model too? Oh, pickles.
Okay, so you can see there's a little bit of expression on his face, a little bit of fear on his face. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Just using that Replica plugin.
Well, you certainly don't look like a 3D model. You look real. What if I'm a 3D?
Okay, so we already have that fear on his face, which is pretty cool. Okay, so let's go ahead after his idle. We can maybe give him like an animation. Let's go ahead and use the body puppet again, the motion puppet tool. And let's give him like a, there's gotta be a talking one here. Yeah, male talking. And we'll use explain or whatever. Let's see, is this one talking right here? Again, we can preview it and see what it looks like.
Well, you certainly don't look like a 3D model. You look...
It's previewing, so it's not recorded yet. Okay, so let's go ahead and just record that. Let's mask out his body there. Let's hope this one talking looks like reasonable.
Well, you certainly don't look like a...
Oh, sorry, we're not using this character for the body animation. We're using the other character, right? Silly guy. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at this dude. Let's give him that body animation while he's talking. All right, so...
Well, you certainly...
Okay. Here he is.
Well...
Okay, and then we're gonna just go ahead and do that same thing with puppet. See what it looks like.
Well, you certainly don't look like a 3D model. You look real. What if I'm a 3D model too? Oh.
All right, I think that one works fine. Let's go ahead and mask out the hips and the legs though, since we want to keep it consistent. Let's take that exaggeration down a bit, maybe the speed slightly down, and record it.
Well, you certainly don't look like a 3D model. You look real. What if I'm a 3D model too? Oh, pickles.
Okay, and then his face just snaps, obviously, so we can fix that a little bit later on. What I'll do is I'll select, what's his name's face here? Kevin's face. How much time do we have? We got 5 minutes. All right, it's down to the line, everyone. Let's get ahead and select Kevin's face. So again, the trick, after you use that expressiveness in the AccuLips Replica plugin there, it's going to snap back into a basic facial expression here. And the way you can adjust that to prevent that from happening is you can go ahead and you can see in the motion track there, it creates that clip there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and go to the face key editor. And we're just going to use a fear expression. Okay, so look at the fear. There we go. That one works just fine. Okay, so we need to go to our, let's see, expression. It should be in our expression track. Oh, our expression track is down here. That's why. Okay, so there's our keyframe for the fear. It basically just extends. You can see this clip here. This is the clip that's generated by the AccuLips, by the Replica plugin. Okay, the fear. And then if we then it won't snap back to serious. If we just add that extra fear kind of keyframe right here, like this or this, doesn't really matter. Okay, let's even move this so we can, we'll see Harold's face in just a bit here. Anyways, we'll stick with this fear one, okay? And again, you can adjust the expressiveness, make it back to normal or more fear, okay? Another cool tool in iClone. Close that down. Let's just bring it over here. Okay, so then we have that interaction. Let's take a look at what it looks like right now. Go to the side here as if we're just a bystander. Let's zoom out here a little bit. Here we go. Okay. So Harold and Pia having a face off here. Let's go ahead and play back.
So the other day, my mother gave me some big news. I'm actually an intelligent 3D model they adopted.
Well, you certainly don't look like a 3D model. You look real. What if I'm a 3D model too? Oh, pickles.
Okay, so then maybe she'll come back with her zinger, and then we'll just end off the webinar and go to the questions here. So let's just quickly do that, and I'll animate her face using the facial puppet tool, which I like to use, like I mentioned. So let's go ahead, and then we can also use the Replica plugin to do that as well. Let's do the same thing. Replica link. Let's select Jody. Okay, and then we're gonna bring in her third line here. Oops. Oh, where did it go? There we go. Okay, I wouldn't worry too much. We'll just go ahead and throw that in there. And we'll just use this one. We'll give her like an auto, maybe a neutral. Okay, since we're gonna add that on, the strength doesn't matter. Okay, since it's neutral, let's go ahead and apply that. Okay, so this is going to apply to Jody's face here. It's going to align those visines in just a moment. And then we will move on to the Q&A after this is finished. Okay, so she has that all set up. So we can close down our Replica Studios plugin now, or our application anyways, and play this back.
Oh, I wouldn't worry too much. I'm sure no one would make a 3D model as ugly as you.
Anyways, okay, there we go. Let's get her face into view here. And let's do some facial puppeteering with her. What did I do here? Oh, there we go. Oh, that's what I was doing. Okay. So yeah, she looks pretty sassy right there, I think, with her hands on her hips. Okay, so he's like, oh.
Model, you look real. What if I'm a 3D model too? Oh, pickles.
Okay, and then she's going to we're going to just do a final animation with her using the face puppet tool, which is down here. Okay, this is one I like to use a lot. Again, very useful for quick and easy facial animation. If we just go to like our EX Plus, these are profiles that are included with the new EX Plus enabled characters, CC3 based plus characters. Just use one of these, for example, if I preview it. Okay, you can see, there she goes. Okay, this is the happy one. And if you press W, she'll switch to like a concerned look on her face. E is like maybe this one's a bit snarky, whatever you want to call it. Again, I'm using the QWERTY keys to kind of toggle between all these expressions here. This one I think is fear. Okay, and then finally Y is the okay. I don't know which one we're going to use. Let's use the happy one. No, I think this one. She looks a bit snarky on this one. So let's select this one here. And again, we're going to blend. The strength can be 1. Any questions, more questions about this, I can always answer a little bit later on. Again, there's lots more details you can go into in each one of these individual tools. But I'm just going to go ahead and let's just maybe, since we don't want to replace her mouth, let's just select her like forehead, eyebrows, eyelids, everything. Nose, obviously one in there. And now if we preview, let's actually use the closed profile So this will keep her mouth closed. This will have like less mouth movement. Okay, you can see here, mouth stays fairly closed. Let's use the anchor one on that. Okay, let's just go ahead and record her snarky face.
Oh, I wouldn't worry too much. I'm sure no one would make a 3D model as ugly as you.
Okay, so I just generated that on the fly there. So let's take a look at how it recorded.
3D model. You look real. What if I'm a 3D model too? Oh, pickles.
Oh, I wouldn't worry too much. I'm sure no one would make a 3D model as ugly as you.
Okay, so maybe I did a little bit too exaggerated on her mouth. I probably could have taken off the weight on her mouth or something like that. But yeah, that's it. So we're now at 1 hour, which is the limit for our live demo. So let's take a final look at our conversation between our two characters here. And then we will get to the Q&A. So any questions you have, feel free to ask those questions after we watch these two lovebirds get at it here. I'll just do the final one in Unreal only here. Give you a full view here. Oh, but I also need to make sure we play back in iClone. Playing back. What did I do? Maybe I need to. Oops. Oops. Oh. I'm confused here. Which window goes where? Oh man. Okay. Oh, there's iClone. Let's move it over here. And let's just take this out of full mode here. Just for now, it seems to be causing a bit of problems. Let's go ahead and play back then.
So the other day, my mother gave me some big news. I'm actually an intelligent 3D model they adopted.
Well, you certainly don't look like a 3D model. You look real. What if I'm a 3D model too? Oh, pickles.
Oh, I wouldn't worry too much. I'm sure no one would make a 3D model as ugly as you.
Good enough. All right, there we go. That's the live demo, guys. So let's go to the Q&A now. Let me just put my other headphone in here, and we will answer your questions as they come. So let's go right now to Q&A. There's a few things in the chat window here. Yeah, there was a question that is Quixel Bridge free? Yeah, Quixel Bridge is free. For show. Okay, so let's go to the Q&A section here now. Cliff, another question about Quixel Bridge. Where did Quixel Bridge come from? The history of Quixel was like they basically had a whole bunch of assets that you could use in Unreal, and they had their own little application to import those assets. And now it's basically been adopted by Unreal. So you can essentially import your assets directly from Bridge into Unreal, into your Unreal project. It's like a library of all your assets that's it's really nicely organized, and you can basically just import it all in. You can see here I have my Metahuman section selected, but if I go to like other sections here, like here there's and it comes with a lot of free assets, I should mention as well, like a ton of free assets. Highly recommend getting it. Let's make it a bit bigger here. Okay, so you want to bring vegetation into your scene? We got you covered, man. There's some tropical stuff. You know, we got your tropical plants. We got your ground cover, crops, all this fun stuff. A lot of other stuff as well. Essentials like decals, or as you see in Canada, decal. A whole bunch of other stuff. Anyways, latest assets you can see. I won't get too much detail on this. You can always just browse it on your own time. But yeah, it's just basically kind of a library for your assets. If someone wants to give more detail, you can go ahead. I'm not super familiar with it, but I do use it for all my projects in Unreal. Question from Timothy: why use the Metahumans instead of just using iClone characters? Does Live Link work with them? Yeah, I think we showed that LiveLink works with all of the Metahuman characters. Also works obviously with iClone characters. Metahuman characters, they've done a really good job at the realism factor. Now, if you strip all the shading and all the lighting away, they basically look the same as your typical like iClone character, CC3 based plus character. But just we want to basically be a tool that is as compatible as possible with all of our partner tools, especially like Unreal. So we want to give people the option of being able to animate your metahuman characters. I know right now it's just been launched a little while ago, and they're still, it's very basic right now, but we want to get ahead of that production pipeline, just so regardless of whether you choose to use a metahuman character or an iClone character in your project, that you have that option to animate either one. Okay, because we want to be that animation tool that everyone uses. And we are, a little hint, we're launching some really cool new animation tool stuff coming up later with iClone 8, end of this year or next year. We'll see. But you can look forward to some really cool and funky new animation tools, very unique and innovative animation tools. Okay, next question from Pete. When Pete Pedesser, working in Motion Live on a character, do you find that you're saving JSON files for strength and smoothing, mapping and tracking fairly regularly for your characters? It would be nice if that info could be embedded in the character in order not to have to load 3 different JSON files. Yeah, so what Pete is talking about is for motion, facial motion capture. You have you can save like profiles that determine the strength of your facial motion capture and all sorts of other stuff. I honestly don't use them too often. I kind of whip things up as I go along. I haven't had a project really ongoing project where I've had to save too many JSON files. I'll just kind of, and again, I'm not like super picky, But yeah, that's a good. And you can always put that in our forums, in the wishful features section of our forums, and our development team takes a look at all that stuff just to determine, the best improvements for the next version. All right, we have an anonymous attendee. Ooh, could you share the good practice on how you use 2 windows, one Reallusion, one Unity? Oh, okay. Yeah, my monitor is a 27-inch, 28-inch monitor. Okay, so it's fairly large that I do this demo on. I have to use this one because it can be fairly resource intensive to do this demo that I just did here. Can't use my desktop for this, or my laptop, I mean. What I do is, there's a couple ways you can do things. If you hold down the window key on your keyboard, you press the left button or the right button. You have to have a window selected first. So if I press window and left, for example, here, window right. So I pressed window right because iClone was already on the left. So I had the iClone window selected. I held window and pressed the right arrow key, and it moved iClone to the right. And then you can choose whichever window you want to be on the left here. Okay, so Unreal, boom, press enter, and Unreal pops up over there. And if I want iClone to be on the left, I select the iClone window, hold window and press left. Okay, there it goes. And yeah, okay, there it goes. And then you can select whichever one you want to be on the right. In this case, I'll select Unreal. All right, that's one way to do it. The other way that I've used before is you can click and drag the window all the way to the left, and you can see that white shadow comes up, like kind of like a white thing. Just click and drag it there. Or if I click and drag it over to the right, do the same thing. And then we can select Unreal to the left. Okay, so click and drag it all the way to the right, boom. And then iClone will go onto the left. Yeah, pretty useful. I think a useful little tip there for, obviously, if you're using Unreal LiveLink, you'll want to use this quite often. All right, question from Ryan. What is the future of iClone and Unity game engine? Will there be any linking capability like Unreal in the near future? If not, will the auto setup for Unity be maintained? Yes, absolutely. We are working with Unity as well. So we want to be as compatible with these main game engines as possible. And on Unity, we're still developing stuff with them as well. Live Link could be in the future as well. Yeah, so we're basically, we focused on Unreal because we've had some really cool teamwork with them and some new innovations, new developments in the recent future, or in the recent past. But yeah, we are working with Unity as well, and obviously we want to make that pipeline as smooth as possible. So the live link with Unity is on the way. Question from Josh so the replica link is going to iClone, right? Is there a plugin for that? Not sure about the question. The replica application is a separate standalone application that you would have on your desktop. If I go to my desktop here, you can see we have Replica Studios. You can just load it up like this. Obviously, this is an easier, much better way to use than the website. Okay, a sandbox, you can find all your stuff there. You can find your voice library. Okay, so here's all the character voices. I like this guy. He's a
Greetings, traveler. You look like you could use a drink. Might I interest you in a mug of ale?
And it's like his accent. Anyways, there's a whole library of people you can use here. And obviously Hammond was one of my favorites as well. Cool. Hopefully that answers your question there. In the Replica plugin, I showed that in action. Yeah, live link for Unity. Hopefully we're getting that in the near future here. Another question from Pete. Are there any plans for future iClone versions to expand the motion puppet example animations? In terms of the motion puppet for the body, we will have more of those in the next version for sure. Yeah, I haven't seen too much about it yet, but we are, I mean, that's a tool I use all the time, you know, at least to start. You can also layer on all sorts of edits on top of those loopable animations that I showed you. So yeah, it is a very important tool for us, and we're going to be continuing to develop that in the future. Yeah, so your second question there, Pete, about masking motions, like applying a motion but only applies to the hands. I've seen that, and it's in the next version. Okay, so we have some really cool stuff coming out in the next version. Unfortunately, that won't be available until probably early next year at this point, just because there's a lot of other development stuff going on. Ronnie asks, how do we set props like sofa static when doing animation in iClone? Or do you have a tutorial? Like sofa static? Not sure what you mean about sofa static there, Ronnie. But yeah, you can certainly bring in any props into your scene, and your characters can interact with them depending on the prop that you have. I don't know if I even have a sofa anywhere in my smart gallery here. Let's see. Oh yeah, so if you load up your smart gallery and you type in sofa, for example, it'll show all the packs that have sofas in them, like this dirty room. And obviously you can see I haven't downloaded it yet, so it's grayed out. And if I double click on it, I can download it. That's a really cool thing about the smart gallery, is that it's basically organizes all your stuff that you can search for it. And if you don't have it installed, like if you don't have enough room on your hard drive or you want to save room, you can uninstall it and then you can reinstall it when you need it. That's one feature I've really made a heavy use of myself, because I don't like to have things on my computer unless I'm using them, especially like, I know some of you have like terabyte hard drives that, external hard drives where you carry all of your content. But for me, having it all stored in the cloud, and you can install it when you need to install your question there. Question from Nick. What drove the fear on Harold's expression? Does the replica to iClone link understand which moods were chosen in replica? Or was it just the size of an expression to the character by hand? No, so it gave me the option to use a specific template. So if I, for example, okay, Okay, we're already past all the talking. If I, for example, went back to, let's make my desktop available here. And let's do that, try that one more time. I'll show you an example here. Sandbox. Let's find Harold here again, and let's give him a different line to say. CFGH, or Hammond was the voice that's driving Harold. Man, those sound alike. Okay, so let's just go ahead and select Hammond. And here, of course, you can change the style. So we'll change it to like angry, and we'll give him an angry look. Okay, so like, what's she say? Like, okay, so she says, you're pretty ugly, I guess, at the end. Like, who are you calling ugly? You bad woman. Okay. Yeah, let's throw that in there and apply it to our dude here. Okay, so again, Replica Studios plugin. Oh, it's already open right over here. Select Kevin. And then have Kevin receive this voice. So we have to save the take first. Okay, so that'll play back. Oh, probably should have played from here.
Who are you calling ugly, you bad woman?
That's the cheesiest of all insults, but we'll work with it. So click here, export to iClone. Again, so the style here in iClone, it pops up and it allows you to apply a certain style. And anger, we can use this one here. Let's have a high strength on this one. Maybe even max strength. I'm not sure how that will look, but if we apply it, that will also apply the anger expression at the same time as the AccuLips. Okay, so then we look at the character, play back.
Who are you calling ugly, you bad woman?
Okay, and then we can look at it in Unreal as well. Let's zoom in on Harold's face here. Shabba-da-boop, bam, bang. There we go. He looks a little bit weird there, but elongated face, but okay, we'll work with this. So let's go back to where were we here?
As ugly as you.
Okay, so he's thinking of a comeback here.
Who are you calling ugly, you bad woman?
Okay, but then again, you'll notice again that he pops back into that neutral expression. So again, the way to resolve that is let's just see what it looks like on high mode here, regular shading mode. And again, the way to avoid that popping back into the neutral expression is to add that additional keyframe afterwards that allows you to blend into an evil or angry expression. So we'll see it pop up here in just a moment. Once we change our shading mode, okay, now he looks a lot better. Okay, so that's the fear. Okay, that's the fear expression on his face now. If we press F3 and go into our timeline, this over here in the bottom right, this is our my zoom panel here. So we have the this clip here. Okay, this is the Visine clip that includes all the AccuLips stuff. Okay, this one here is the expression clip. So this one here is the anger. So it basically automatically generates an anger expression clip here. But again, obviously from here to here, you'll see pop. Okay, he just kind of pops from here. Over here. So he just kind of pops. He loses his anger expression. It actually adds this clip on the end here, which is this is a neutral clip right here. I'm not sure why it did that, but you can also adjust the transition area from anger to regular expression. Okay, anger. If you want it to be longer, there you go. You can even delete this. If we delete this clip that added on the end there, it'll stay angry the entire time. Okay, and if we want it to adjust to something else, again, we can use that face key editor. Happy. Now let's use like a EX plus. Disgust. Okay, so just basically elongated that. Okay, and we can change this like this one here. You can throw in as many angers as you want here.
And woman.
Okay. Anyways.
So the other day,
that's using the face key editor to add expressions and blend them together. Sorry if I went off on a tangent on that one. Question from another Peter: is the Unreal camera settings a bit off? Avatars have strange proportions. Yeah, that's just the lens, the focal length that I'm using in the Unreal project. There, it's a default focal length. So yeah, obviously, if you pilot like a different camera, let's try like oh, what happened? I don't know which one is going to have a better look at this. So there's our wide camera. We can pilot this one here. This one probably has different proportions. Or maybe like face, Kellen. Oh yeah, so these are cameras I used for like a different demo earlier on. Yeah. But yeah, if you look at like a different camera like this one here, their proportions should be like a little bit better, I think. Make sure she's selected. There we go. So, you know, if you're having an actual conversation, you want the camera, you know, motions to go back and forth. So I'd probably use like an over the shoulder shot like this. Something like that. So now the proportions don't look so bad. Okay, so if we wanted to have, you know, the camera looking at the camera from her angle, this is what it would look like here. Stop moving around. All right, there we go.
So the other day, my mother gave me some big news. I'm actually an intelligent 3D model they adopted.
Well, you certainly don't.
So that's yeah, just different cameras will have different focal lengths that make the features look not so elongated. All right. Yeah, it's nothing to do with Unreal. It's just my camera work. Where's my zoom panel here? There we go. Okay. Yeah, okay, so this answers the question from Peter there. Oh, it was the style option. Okay, so I guess Nick answered his own question there later on. Cliff mentions, asks, are the Replica voices royalty free? If you go to the Replica website, they are royalty free for certain things. I forget the exact restrictions on them, but they're very generous with what they have for protected performance. I think it's somewhere down here. Yeah, there's their terms of service. I forget what it is, but yeah, they're fairly open with their terms of service. I forget where. I think when you sign up, they kind of tell you more about it. I'm unfortunately, I'm not too familiar with their royalty-free policy. But when you sign up, then you will be able to review that. It doesn't come to mind right now, but I don't want to say anything that's that's not true. So yeah, check for the details on that. I know that when you sign up, it gives you kind of an overview of how you can use it. And I know you can use it royalty free for a whole bunch of stuff, but yeah. Yogesh says, hey guys, just want to know how we can set up some morph animation using the same setup in Unreal with CC3 characters and metahumans. Yeah, morph animation works just fine. That's with iClone. I think you're talking about animating like the body muscles and stuff like that, or that kind of morph animation. Yeah, that works fine. Not with metahumans right now, unfortunately. Okay, since they're not compatible with that specific feature, unfortunately, in iClone. Shabadabadoo. Another question from Timothy. What advantage did the metahumans have over iClone characters brought into Unreal? I mean, both types of characters have their advantages, to be honest. The pipeline's not perfect yet, but iClone characters have a bit more in terms of animatability. Like actually the Yogesh just mentioned the body morphs and stuff like that. Physics soft cloth can be exported using Alembic format. There's each one has their own advantage. To be honest with you, if you bring an iClone character into Unreal Engine and have the right shading and everything like that, it looks fantastic as well. It's just personal preference, I guess, you know, at this point. But right now, as Metahumans is just kind of starting out, maybe iClone characters are a bit more flexible in certain aspects. But Metahuman characters certainly have the nice realism edge for sure. So let's go to the next one. So mixing an AccuLips project with face puppet or face key requires an expression keyframe at the end. Those questions from Kurt, sorry. I have a character with showing teeth, the top lips are raised. How would I blend that with AccuLips? So whenever you have a facial animation, let's take a look at the one animation that I think was not really good that I did. That was with the face puppet tool. That was the one where she was snarling. I think her face was a bit too snarly. So
Look like a 3D model. You look real. What if I'm a 3D model too? Oh, pickles.
Oh, I wouldn't worry too much.
okay, so you know this one, she's probably snarling a bit too expressive. I think she might look a little bit too angry. And you can see right here, maybe her mouth goes a little bit more too much to the side. If I feel that she's like snarling too much like this, what I can do, there's a few things I can do. I'll go into the timeline here, and we want to just basically pay attention to only her expression track. So we can close everything else down. Where are we here? Okay, so this is her expression. Let me just turn the face or the audio down here. So I think maybe here she starts to get a bit too snarly. So what I'm going to do is just use the face key editor, and I can actually just throw a keyframe in there. I can just double click in the muscle track, and that'll add a keyframe. And at this frame right here, maybe I think she's too, you know, a little bit too angry. So then I can go to our muscles tab over here. You can also modify the features individually, like lower brow raise, eyes blink. Okay, mouth smile. Okay, so if we wanted to have her smile a little bit, at that point we could do so. You can also go to the muscles track here, and what I might do is I might just take her nose here and just kind of click and drag that, make it a little less snarly, and take this one here, maybe the inner eyebrows, and bring them up a bit. Okay. And maybe take this little doodad here and just kind of, and then, sorry if I'm just kind of not explaining things too well, but I might open the eyes a bit more. Basically, I'm just selecting certain muscles on the face, and I'm adjusting their position and everything. Maybe her lips are too far, or she has too much of a frown. You get the point, okay? But then what would happen is we have this neutral keyframe here, and so now she's not as snarly. Okay, and then if we wanted to restore it back to the original snarl that she had, what we can do is just add a default key here. Okay, now bam, back to snarls. Okay. I'm saying that word snarl altogether too much. We'll copy that. Like, you can copy that keyframe right there and paste it later on if you want the happiness to last longer. And then from here to here, transition back to okay. Anyhow, that's yeah, it's using the face key editor to layer on top of any capture that you have. Chad mentions here, we need a whiteboard diagram of how these tools interrelate. I don't have one handy right now, but there is kind of like a couple of diagrams on the tutorials. Okay, so I highly recommend checking out the tutorials I showed earlier. Those are in the chat window there, that Metahuman webpage link. There is a couple of diagrams there. Essentially, the dummies here, the gray dummies, they drive the characters' bodies, and these CC3 base plus characters, Jody and I think his name is Kevin, drive the facial animation for the characters in Unreal. If you're familiar with blueprints, which I'm not really, to be honest, I'm not too good at them. You can see if you go into one of the blueprints of the character. Oh, there's a Pia too. Let's go into Harold's here. You'll see that, I showed this already earlier. Yeah, you'll see that basically everything's set up here so that the live link drives the character's body and the face right here. If we select the body mesh as well, it's using the animation blueprint, and this is the animation blueprint here for that particular body type of character. I'm not sure if that it probably doesn't clear things up anymore because there wasn't any diagrams involved with that. But yeah, Chad, just check out the tutorials. There's some diagrams on there that make you a bit more detail. Question from Rick. What would be the best way to apply this in the UE4 sequencer or apply the animations to NPCs? I'm concerned about memory usage. Well, you can actually record them using the take recorder. And we have a tutorial that shows how to do that again on the Metahuman page there. Check that out. Essentially, all you need to do, close my project. Now, essentially, all you need to do is just open up your, under cinematics, open up your take recorder. And where did it go? Oh, there it is. Take recorder, basically just select a source for your character. Like in this one, we would select from actor. We'd find the blueprint for Harold, for example. And so then basically then you record and you play back in iClone and it'll record a take. It'll record the animation on the character's body in an animation clip. And then you can find it in your sequencer and you can fix it and adjust it all in the sequencer. Okay, so that's basically in the last tutorial on the Metahuman page, it shows you how to do that. That's basically the summary there. Well, we've been going for quite a while here. Question from Chris Walker. How do you record the animation in Unreal while sending the, okay, so recording the animation in Unreal, okay, so let's go ahead and do it. I'll show you how to, I'll show you an example of how we record for poor Harold here. Let's move this over here. Oh, let's close the timeline. Okay, so we have Harold selected as the source again for the recording, and it doesn't really matter where we are in iClone here. We can take a specific look at Harold. We'll start off with his. So let's go ahead and record, and when you record, it'll give you a countdown. It should give you a countdown. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Okay, so basically now it's just recording Harold's animation. You can see right here. Oh, I turned the audio off. That's why there's no audio. Okay, I think that was it basically for Harold. Okay, and then we just need to stop. Okay, so it's just it's gonna basically create that clip. Can't save. I'm not sure if this will take a long time, but let's press yes. Okay, good. We're good. So I'm not sure what that was, but and it should have the Harold here. If we load it up in the sequencer. should show Harold's tracks. Okay, so under body, now we have this animation right here. Okay, this is the animation clip for the body right here, and that's basically now you have it saved as a clip. Okay, so that's really essentially how you do it. I'd probably want to take this out and make it a bit bigger. Where are you going? Oh gosh. Okay. Anyways, you get the point there. There's my clip. Okay, for Harold's body, and it should be. Unless I did something wrong, should be there. Anyways, that's the recording process. Take a look at the tutorial because I might have done something wrong there with pressing yes on that thing. I'm not sure what happened. Anyways, that's the recording process. Watch the tutorial for a bit of a better, more accurate workflow. Okay, so next question from Peter. Upgrade to iClone, is this paid? No, so iClone, every new version, like 6, 7, 8, you have to pay an upgrade price. So all of the updates within that version are completely free. So like 7.1, 7.2, 7.3 through 7.9 we're at now. All free of charge, and a lot of those include new features and new tools as well. But when you get to iClone 8, you will need to purchase with an upgrade price. But you will have like a super good, if you're a member and you already have the previous version, you do get a super good upgrade price. Let's just be aware of that. But it's not coming anytime soon. So it's going to be, we're looking at early next year or late this year at the earliest. Question from Peter. There's so many Peters in this chat. So I kind of basically just talked about the upgrade policy from Reallusion. Hopefully that answered your questions. Good question from Chad. What iPhone model supports these functions? Anything iPhone 10 and newer. You can do the facial motion capture. Question from Ken. Try not to go overtime, but I have trouble importing OBJs from CLO into CC3 pipeline. The garments never fit. So Ken, you might want to actually check and post in the forums. I would recommend posting in the forums about that kind of stuff. Garments that don't fit on your CC3 characters. I know there's a lot of people on the forums who are basically developers, and they create their own clothing. And I would recommend posting on our forums. In case you guys don't know, I'll just put a link in the chat window for you here. It's a forum.reallusion.com. Yeah, and then there's stuff here that you can post in the iClone section here. Wishful features, probably you'd want in general or technical issues, I think, for character creator in your case. I think I might have just gotten disconnected there. So sorry about that, guys. Let me just share my screen again here. That was a weird turn of events. Zoom just totally went blank for me. I'm here again though. Okay, so yeah, to answer Freddie's question, in case you didn't hear it there, Replica is the only plugin you need, and you can download that from the iClone site there that I sent you that link earlier. Question from Michael. I was wondering why iPhone is exclusively used and there is no development to use Android apps. We've had that question multiple times. I actually have an iPhone sitting here that I don't use. I only use it for facial motion capture. It just sits at my home useless most of the time, which I kind of feel a little bit guilty for. But yeah, we are looking into the development with Android apps. Unfortunately, we spent a lot of time working together with Apple with their ARKit, and which allows the most detailed facial motion capture at this point. We do have certainly interest in developing Android facial motion capture as well, but right now that's still in the development phase. Okay, question from Andres. Could you make a tutorial integrating Akitsu? I'm not familiar with Akitsu, but we could look around and I could learn about it. Andres, put that in the feedback form that we're going to send to you, and we'll take a look at it in the future. If there's enough demand for it, we'll certainly have something that talks about integrating Akitsu for sure. Your video locked for a second there. Sorry about that, guys. Joseph asks, how do I switch and add from different scenes in my animations? That's using the camera switch tool, which is, I guess I can demo that real quick here, since we have a bit of time. For example, if I was just doing this camera animation, and of course you can also export the cameras from iClone into Unreal using iClone Live Link as well, which is what I would probably do in this case. So this conversation starts off with her. So I would just go ahead and create a camera, for example. We'll create this camera and we'll go into our scene manager and we'll just call it, what's her name again? Zoe, is it? I'm just totally off on that. Jody, I think Zoe. Okay, so we'll call the camera Jody, and we'll just kind of place this camera focused on Jody. Maybe something like right here. Okay, and let's create another camera. And we'll call this camera Kevin, right? Kevin. And we'll place this camera over here, looking at Kevin. Don't mind the fact that they're just looking forward into nothing, essentially. Okay, this is just how I would create the camera setup. Okay, so first we want to go to our timeline. Let's just maximize iClone here. Press F3, go into our timeline. And you need to open up your projects track, which is at the very top. Or project, singular track. And there's something called the switcher. The switcher. So just double click in the switcher track, or rather right click in the switcher track, and go to camera list. We'll start off with Jody. Okay, so Jody, the camera is now Jody. Play back. Oh, let's make sure the view camera is also Jody. Let's make sure we hear her voice as well.
So the other day, my mother gave me some big news. I'm actually an intelligent 3D model they adopted.
Okay, and we'll pause it there. In our timeline, and then we'll right click in the switcher track and switch to camera list. Kevin. And then we'll go to, just to see what Kevin looks like here.
Well, you certainly don't look like a 3D model. You look real. What if I'm a 3D model too? Oh, pickles.
Oh.
Okay. And then we'll switch back to Jody. Camera list, Jody. Okay. Now, obviously, we don't want to manually switch the camera each time. So we just go up here to switch, click on switch, and then play back the whole thing. And it's going to look like this.
So the other day, my mother gave me some big news. I'm actually an intelligent 3D model they adopted.
Well, you certainly don't look like a 3D model. You look real. What if I'm a 3D model too? Oh, pickles.
Oh, I wouldn't worry too much. I'm sure no one would make a 3D model as ugly as you.
Okay, so there's the switch back and forth, all right? Super simple stuff. No, okay, let's go to more questions here. And of course, those cameras can be exported to Unreal, like mentioned. Yogesh, Okay, so same question. I think I talked about that a little bit earlier. Question from Slater. So based on the presentation so far, it's a combination of Replica and iClone's expression. Will there be a trial version of expression? Expression is actually an embedded tool in iClone. You don't need any special plugins for that. It's just one of the embedded tools in iClone there. So you can download the free trial version of iClone for 30 days. Of course, after that, it needs a purchase. But yeah, that's the iClone or the expression track is a tool that's embedded in iClone. You don't need anything special for that. Okay, Mike says, I believe the voices are free for use. The time is based. Okay, so this is, I think, Mike, you're talking about Replica Studios, their licensing there. He believes the voices are free. Again, I'm resolved of all responsibility here. I'm not really super familiar with that, but they do offer you like a certain amount of time for free. If you go to plugin, you can see at the very top, actually, right here, I've only used like 2 minutes and like 7 seconds here. I still have 27 minutes remaining, almost 28 minutes remaining. So this is what they give you as a bonus to start when you sign up. I think anything beyond that you must have to pay for. But I do remember it being something like royalty free for a certain amount of time. But yeah, just double check that. Okay, so Chris again asked about the recording, the animation in Unreal. I think I showed that there. Question from Nick. Do you have any tips for expression plus live face motion capture options for tongues? So unfortunately, we haven't developed the technology yet to do motion capture for your tongue. I'm not sure exactly what that would look like or how that would play out if you have like sort of mocap sensors on your tongue. If you maybe wear a tongue sock or something like that, which might be pretty uncomfortable. But yeah, unfortunately, tongues are mostly, for the most part, they're manually animated in most facial motion capture, even professional, just because capturing the tongue is the challenge. So I don't have any tips for tongues, aside from the fact that you can obviously animate the tongue using the face puppet tool or whatever tool you want. But of course, you have to have the EX Plus character, which these characters are. These are the new characters. So let's go to, oops, not motion puppet. Face puppet we need. Silly goof. All right. Face puppets. And there's the tongue right here. Lips and tongue. EX Plus, we'll get to see Jody like licking her lips here. Okay, that's the mouth open. Maybe she's using mouthwash or something. Here you can see the tongue going into the cheek, which I think is pretty cool. That's a really cool new feature. That's one that I like. And then there's the R. So this is just putting out the tongue like this. Okay. You can lick the lips like this as well. Okay, and then there's T. This is a bit more exaggerated, okay? Putting tongues from side to side, and then the Y. This is curling the tongue, which is pretty wild. Yeah, and you can also obviously keyframe all this stuff as well. You don't want the tongue to go through the lips, but you get the point. Say ah, okay. Anyways, good enough. Okay. What I mean is raise the lips and the expression key and just using iClipse, not face puppet. Yeah, so I think I showed that earlier about using the facial or the face key editor to raise the lips. So yeah, if your character is talking, let's go back to the frame one. I'll show you briefly again how to do this using the face key editor.
So the other day.
So if I want her, to be smiling a bit more when she's talking, since we didn't have much expression on the mouth, then I can go to face key, take that, turn that frown upside down. There you go. And then from this point on, she'll be smiling.
So the other day, my mother gave me some big news.
Okay, so she'll remain smiling throughout the duration of that clip. And if you want to have her frowning when she's talking. Obviously, maybe not that much. There we go.
So the other day, my mother gave me some big news.
Coolio. All right. There's tons of other stuff I can go into on that, but that's the basics. Another question from Slater. So we don't need to exaggerate the facial motion in iClone for them to work properly on the metahuman. Well, you can exaggerate them as much as you want, but it's generally going to be accurate one-to-one expressions transferred between the iClone characters and the metahuman characters. Seems like a couple of you have questions about the lips and AccuLips track. If I go into the AccuLips track, I mean, there's obviously a few features that are included with AccuLips. Let me just make sure I have Jody selected here and open up the AccuLips track, Visine track rather. Okay, so if you want to modify any of these, like this word news, for example, you can see we have the oo for news. Again, you can take that keyframe and change it to like a th or any of these other Visines. Okay, ooh. Okay, so just like with a traditional lip sync, automatic lip sync animation, you can manipulate and change all these lip keyframes here. Okay, so it'll be like new, and then you have the ZZ, the S and the Z, news. Okay, so now she has that S kind of expression. And again, you can change that to ooh or whatever you want. Change the expressiveness. All right, and of course, also go back to talking style editor and make it stronger or faster or etc. All right, question from, oh, that's the answer from Chris. Thanks. Thank you, Chris. Question from Joseph. Does iClone have the intention of bringing in a metahuman anytime soon? So you can currently bring metahumans into iClone using the 3D Exchange profile that I showed you earlier. Why you want to do that? Probably not at this time, just because let's say the shading in Unreal can be a lot better, is better at this point. So generally, I mean, you can bring your metahuman characters into iClone for sure. You can animate them and everything, but you might want to keep them in their native environment at this point. But yeah, you can bring them into iClone for sure. And if you want, yeah, absolutely, you can bring them into iClone. And the shaders will need to be adjusted a little bit to make them look as realistic as they do in Unreal. Okay, question from Ken. Thank you for that. Yada yada. Okay, yeah, just a thank you. Thank you, Ken, for being with us here today. And with that, it looks like we're all done. All right, right on, guys. So yeah, I guess just to summarize here, this is the whole workflow for animating your metahuman characters using the Unreal Live Link plugin. Highly recommend trying to get a hold of that. Really useful tool that allows you to quickly and easily animate your metahuman characters or your character creator characters in Unreal. Any characters really, for that matter. You can animate them using iClone's arsenal of cool motion tools. And yeah, that's just basically wanted to show you the pipeline, how quick and easy it is, how accurate the AccuLips lip sync is. And again, it can be customized and modified further. Everything can be essentially customized and modified to your heart's content. Well, it looks like this is popping up again here. Autosave failed. I'm not sure what happened there. Anywho, we're about out of time. So I want to, again, thank you so much to everyone for being with us here today. I know some of you woke up super early, or some of you are staying awake super late to watch with us here today. So thanks for being with us. And again, hopefully you get a chance to use this workflow in your future projects. I highly encourage you to take a look at it. And yeah, don't forget to fill out the survey as always, guys. And I think I'll sign off with that without further ado. So glad for all of you guys here to be here with us to participate in this webinar. And I will see you, I guess, in the next webinar. We have one coming up for 2D with Mark Diaz again. Recommend checking that out early next month. All right, thanks, guys. I'll talk to you in the next webinar.